My opponents talked about methane in the water and water contamination and pollution. I'm trying to figure out though, how many people, if any, have died from fracking? Also, I would like to know the long-term effects of fracking and how does it endanger the money brought in specifically? Three reasons why hydrofracking is beneficial for parks are hydrofracking creates many jobs, there's less reliance on foreign sources for natural gas, and compared to other natural sources such as coal and oil, natural gas is cleaner. In the year 2000, 276,000 natural gas wells in the United States were created. In the year 2010, 510,000 of these natural gas wells were also created. So as you can see, the number has doubled according to the United States Department of Energy. A 2014 study showed that at least 15.3 million Americans lived within a mile of fracking that has been drilled since 2000. Hydrofracking is a hot topic in America. There's many proponents and opponents for this, as you can see. Going into the job creation, supporting 1.7 million jobs in the United States in the year of 2012. They don't just account for jobs such as drilling. There's also waiters that have received jobs due to hydrofracking, as well as shop clerks. Fracking reaches more than those who are in the direct area of the fracking site. Fracking will reach 3.5 million people by the year 2035. It supplies the unemployed with work, according to John Larson, a vice president at IHS and the study's lead author. Shale gas created 600,000 jobs by the end of the decade, according to President Obama.
And with shale gas creating over 600,000 jobs in the U.S., we are becoming less reliant on foreign oil. Estimated 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and 25.2 billion barrels of crude oil, according to the Energy Information Administration, is being produced or can be produced from the soils here in the United States. The United States will overtake Saudi Arabia as the world's largest oil producer by 2017, and that's been quoted by Gross in 2014. Natural gas production already has new highs thanks to shale gas. It is expected to grow 44% between 2011 and 2040. With the growing amounts of oil in the U.S., we can become sufficient. We can become self-sufficient by 2030. U.S. net import oils have dropped 44% in the last 5 years because of fracking, according to Richard Anderson. And the U.S. will have more freedom in dealing with the Gulf regiments in Israel. We won't be so dependent on these people. We won't need to bargain with them. This is according to Bob Orderhouse from October of 2014. Also, compared to natural resources such as coal and oil, one of the byproducts from fracking is natural gas, which is one of the cleanest burning fossil fuels that we can have. Coal-generated fossil fuels are much higher in comparison to natural gas. Natural gas has half of the carbon dioxide as coal and oil, has a third of the nitro oxide and 1% of the sulfuric acid or oxides that oils and coals produce versus natural gas. Also, natural gas burns at a much higher rate of temperature, 0.1 BTU per unit, according to the EPA in 2013. These are all points to prove that natural gas is part of one of the byproducts from fracking, and it does help us grow as a nation, as an economy. Natural gas is also available in all 50 states right now. So if we can continue to gain more natural gas from our own regimen, from our own product, from our own country, we'll be able to help fuel most economical and home energy needs, costing 1/3 as much as electricity. They can use natural gas and generators to help power lights, to help power schools, and help underprivileged cities and towns in this country strive to become bigger. Natural gas emits less amount of carbon dioxide in the air when combusted. So you're not going to have the fumes, we're not going to have the exhaust smell as much as going from a coal burning stove to a natural gas burning stove. So when they talk about chemicals from being fracked, they're talking about us pumping in these chemicals into the water, down into the bedrock to help blow up these pieces of sheetrock. My argument is that even though, yes, we are pumping some chemicals in the ground, we're getting a much cleaner byproduct from it. We are getting some crude oil, but we are using this to get our natural gases, to help power this nation, to help clean everything up. We don't want to see bald eagles not survive in the wilderness. We want to see these natural parks grow. Our natural parks don't have fracking sites 15 feet off the road. We're not pulling into a beach and see a big tower pumping chemicals in the ground right next to the lake. Most of these fracking sites are miles and miles away from anywhere that any pedestrian would enter into a national park. These sites are specifically chosen because of one location and to the amount of fracking and the amount of byproduct that we can get from these sites. They're not going in there willy-nilly and start drilling holes into the ground. We're not going in and placing them, like I said, on a beach. We understand that there is a cause and effect from us moving this equipment into sites on natural parks to create these fracking sites. But we choose these sites, and the companies choose these sites that will least effectively affect the ecosystem and sustained reliability of certain animals. Yes, things will change, but we're not there for a short amount of time. They're there to get there, to set up, and like my Charon had mentioned, we're not only giving jobs to waitresses and drillers, we're giving jobs to lumberjacks and lumber mills, lumbersmiths, guys that can come in and cut down these trees. We're giving jobs to more people in the area than just those that come in from an outside company to cut down and start fracking. Also, he's talking about plant damages. Talking about possibly destroying natural plants, possibly destroying plants that are specific to the environment. But I ask you to think about oil spills. When they have oil spills in the Gulf, what happens with the animals down there? We have oil spills with or maybe tankers that flip over and they cause oil spills on through it. We're affecting those plants, those animals, things like that. If we can keep this contained on one site, like they do during hydrofracking, we can contain the amount of loss due to anything like this, any byproducts, things like that.
Stop. What's our time on that? Left.
8:45, they got a minute 15.
Yeah, you know what, I think I've got that chart up there slightly wrong, so